All right, Halos, welcome back. Let me just minimize this a little bit because I accidentally put it too big. We are back once again doing patch notes on patch 13.17. We're once again joined by Drew. What's up, Drew?
Hey, what's up? I can't believe it's been 2 weeks. But yeah, here we are, another patch.
I know, it feels like just last week pretty much, right? It's like,
Yeah.
all right, so we got a pretty big patch here. If you want to read through all this, go feel free, but I'm not going to read through all that. That's way too much time. Uh, yeah, anyway, this is the highlights. Also, once again, you can read through that if you want. Pretty cool stuff happening in this patch. I did get a sneak peek at the patch from watching like Freak's patch preview, but that was like I think a week ago or something. And then LS did like a rundown, I think a preview as well. But I haven't seen like their actual patch note videos yet. I don't think so. But it looks like some pretty cool patch changes. So you want to dive straight off, start it off for us?
Yeah, let's go. Well, you can't get any more first alphabetically than Aatrox.
AA.
So what we got here? Aatrox has passive damage type adjusted to magic damage. W damage type adjusted to magic. So they're adding some magic damage to his kit.
Nice.
Aatrox's most common build right now is Duskblade into Sorelda's, which leaves him incredibly squishy when it comes to team fights, making Aatrox very feast or famine. True. Switching his passive and W to magic damage means that lethality and armor penetration won't scale his damage or self healing as much since that healing is post mitigation. Lowering the opportunity cost of tankier options like Core Drinker, Stride Breaker, or Black Cleaver should allow him to play a bit more like a Juggernaut and less like a diver dash assassin. So, just like this at the top, they've got no number changes. It's literally just um, changing some of his physical damage scaling into magic damage scaling on both his
Interesting.
passive and his W as well. Huh.
What do you
So
think about this?
it's like a roundabout way to stop people from building lethality Aatrox, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically what they said. Because essentially, like people were building the lethality versions because you could get some pretty insane damage numbers.
For sure.
Um, and they don't like him being that high damage and that low health. So I don't think this is meant to be like a buff or a nerf. I think it's just meant to force him to build like bruisery tanky
Yep,
instead of assassin. So
absolutely. I
okay.
agree. Um,
LCK Aatrox's will cry because they were all about
were they doing like the
the
Eclipse or Duskblade or something?
yeah, Dustblade, Eclipse, they were all about the lethality Aatrox over there.
Nice. Yeah, I don't. This is weird. I think it's fine. I don't have any problem with this. I don't really think Aatrox should be like quite an assassin type, just because of how his kit's designed. So I think that's a good idea.
Yep.
Uh, does it accomplish it? I'm not sure, but um, I
I
mean
find
his
sometimes these have unintended consequences. Like, are we gonna see I doubt it,
hybrid.
but are we gonna see like a death cap Aatrox in the
I was gonna say
like,
maybe Ginsu's got the hybrid bow on.
full ooh.
Nah, I doubt
I
it.
feel like
But
sometimes they try to fix one problem and like make a worse one, like unintendedly.
yeah. Um, I don't know. It's a weird change. I think it's fine. I don't see it hurting him too much, but it definitely does hurt him. Because he only really builds AD, right? So this definitely hurts. Well, so it's the damage types. So the scaling doesn't actually change. So it's just the damage type. So I guess it's probably slight buff maybe early on. Um, for the
Maybe.
same
Well, yeah,
reasons
I'm
that
not sure.
yeah, because for the same
Yeah.
reasons that they added or rather changed the damage type from on hit stuff when they did all that changes. They changed it to magic damage because people have less magic resist overall. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know. Interesting. Uh, all right. So we got Akshan. I'm actually not gonna read like the whole things. If you don't want to read them, you don't have to either. But it's I feel like it's a lot of a lot of reading. You guys can scan over it or pause the video if you want to read it. No big deal. Pretty simple one for here. Akshan's just getting his base stats up by 3, and for the health growth up by 3, armor growth is up by zero point 0.5, tap damage growth is down by zero point 0.5. So basically they wanted him to be. I know they're changing Quinn pretty much the same way. They want them to just be more durable, pretty much. And as they're solo lane champs, they're like solo lane marksmen, basically. So they just wanted them to be a little bit more durable, and they don't want them to be quite as strong in terms of like building like crits as well as building uh well just being like if you're getting buffed as your like tankiness, you don't want them
Yeah.
to also have the same amount of damage. So
Yeah, that makes
basically,
sense. That makes
yep.
sense. Yeah.
Thoughts?
Nothing too crazy. I feel like he's in a pretty feels like he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Um I don't think he needed a whole lot of help in either direction. So I don't think this is gonna yeah, I don't think this is gonna change pretty much anything about like how he plays or like what matchups he was winning or losing. I think yeah, it should just be
Yeah.
more of the same.
Pretty much. Agree. All right, let's move on. Got some blitz changes.
Ooh, Blitzcrank. Okay. Geez, they have a. I know so we're not reading the longer part, but the short part here is almost
Yeah,
as
the
long
short
as
part's
the.
like half at least. For real.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what Blitzcrank has. So, base health and magic resistance, increased.
Hmm.
Wait a second. I can't see it now.
Oh, sorry. Is it blurry or?
No, no, no. You scrolled too far down.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, now I can see it. Base health and magic resistance increased. Base attack speed and attack speed ratio decreased. Passive shield value adjusted. W mana cost decreased. Bonus attack speed decreased. E80 ratio increased. Mana cost decreased. Bonus damage to non-champions removed. R passive damage increased. All right, they just did a lot. So we might have to go. We might have to go line by line here as we go down because they
Yeah.
it seems like they changed just about everything
Yeah,
in some
it's
way, shape, or form.
pretty much everything.
Um, okay. Health up, resistance is up. So he does a little bit less attack speed ratios, but
Yep.
he is tankier. So I think that'll help him in lane. Um, because I don't think he relied too heavily on his attack speed. Like he's more of a just hook you and knock you up kind of guy.
Yeah.
Um,
They
passive.
basically were trying to revert the changes that they were doing in the jungle last year, I think it was,
Mm,
where they were trying to force like a lot of champions into the jungle, and Blitz is one of
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
champions. So they're trying to give him a little bit better. I don't know. It's kind of like they're changing things around. They're not really buffing or nerfing him. I think it was an
Yeah, yeah.
overall
Just
nerf, but I don't know.
yeah, it seems like just a bunch of small changes. Like
Hmm.
shield strength is better early, but right? Better
Yes,
early, but then
worst
weaker
late.
late.
Hmm.
Okay. W overdrive cost down.
That's
Um,
nice.
yep, yep, yep.
Does
That
get
feels
less
pretty
attack speed, but
good.
like I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah, no. I think you were using that to like reposition, right? Not necessarily
Usually, yeah,
attack faster. Yeah.
pretty much.
Power Fist. That's nice. Mana cost down by a good old amount. Damage up. So I think I think it'll be better in lane, like early laning, right? Because his shield's a little bit stronger, mana costs are lower, and
Hmm.
then his Power Fist does more damage, which is you basically want to hook him and then Power Fist him.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
that's I mean you're not really doing a whole lot more as a Blitzcrank. So I feel like that combo is still feeling pretty strong.
Yep.
And I guess he'll be like less punished by maybe like ranged supports or like he won't feel as like bad to get poked down in lane maybe. He'll be a little bit more resilient.
Yeah. And then he also added the 2% maximum mana to the R's passive
Hmm.
damage.
True.
So
True.
yeah, basically they were trying to make it like him not be like has to be at the jungle anymore. They just want him to be support,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. No, I think that's fine. He was like always kind of like a like there were some champions where I'm like, okay, yeah, like I could see him as a jungler, and then like I was like, I don't know why are they trying to force this guy, this robot, to be a jungler? Like, what is going on?
I thought it was interesting, but like I don't know. I think he's too weird of a champion to be a jungler. I mean, it can work, but
Yeah.
like yeah, not sure about it. But either way, I think it's a pretty. I think overall it's pretty good, but there's definitely some downsides. Like I think this kind of is annoying, um, because that was a really nice buff that they gave to him when they were doing all
Yeah.
those changes. This is also super nice. Like that scaling
Yeah.
is crazy because he also buys a ton for his passive, like the actual passive.
Hmm.
So
You
a
could
lot of
build that
mana you can.
what's that tier item that will change into
The
like
health
a
one?
tanky? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but that one.
But you know what I'm talking about. It's like the one
Yep.
that all the tanky mages like. Like I feel like he can maybe stack tier and then God, what is that called? It's
I
like
can't
a
remember.
Fimble
Yes, that sounds
Winter.
right.
Yes, something
Winter's
like that. I feel
Approach,
like
I
Winter's
guess.
Approach. Yeah, yeah.
They changed it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, look, Fimble's Winter builds into Fimble Winter.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's the
That's
ultimate
when it
item.
transforms.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yep. So I feel like he might build that now because that gives like a bunch of mana
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
good tank stats. So yeah.
Definitely, definitely. You're definitely
Mm-hmm.
gonna want to build that, and I'm sure there's some other items you can get like Frozen Heart as well, and things like that. They can also give
Mm-hmm.
you extra bonus mana and stuff. So yeah, I think it's a pretty
Yeah,
good change.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Pretty much
yeah.
overall. Some things. I mean, I don't think he's. I think he was relatively strong, but I don't think he was like dominating or anything like that. But I mean, we saw him in like pro and stuff quite a bit recently,
We
so
did. Yeah, we did. We did.
I think they're just trying to make him support and make sure that he's somewhat balanced. So they're getting some nerfs in and some buffs. So it's like pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got Elise up is next. Says the passive bonus damage and Moses magic damage and healing on basic attacks is increased, and the E stun duration is also increased. So getting some buffs here. It looks like we got the passive is bonus magic damage on basic attacks going 10 to 40 to 12 to 42 based on rank. I'm guessing that's level 1, 6, 11, 16 probably.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep. Yep.
then
Probably.
on hit healing on basic attacks going from 4 to 10 to 6 to 12 and same amount of AP ratio. Um Seems nice for her. I think she is like relatively weak, so that's I don't see any real problem with this to be honest. And then E's cocoon is going from 1.6 to 2 seconds of duration to 1.6 to 2.4. That's like pretty negligible, but I mean, it's nice for her, I guess.
Yeah, I think you can tell she's probably a little weak because I think this is like when she's decent, I think the pros enjoy playing her a lot. Like she's one who when she's good, she'll pop up a lot in professional play. And I don't think you see her pretty much anywhere. So I think she is probably pretty weak. Um, I think that healing will probably actually the healing and the damage that should make her. I'd be really curious how much faster or how much like better her clear is early on with that. I just don't know, but
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think it'll help a little bit faster, and maybe she'll be like, we'll have more health. So
Pretty much.
yeah, taking
Pretty
longer to
much what you're
finish with
saying.
less health. Yeah, 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 exactly. So I think if she can like, because she's one who likes to gank a lot, so I think if she can finish with more health and then gank, it might make her, yeah, it might pretty good changes. I think they're trying to make her fit that early ganking niche,
Yep,
and
pretty much.
I actually think these changes are gonna hit like or like gonna hit that goal.
Yep, and then
Yeah.
looks like they're gonna be buffing her in the future as well. just her in later stages of the game, so she's still strong pick potential when her other strengths have fallen off. So she's clearly
Hmm.
still early game, but like
Yeah, yeah.
still it has that cocoon, I suppose, or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
a little bit more stun. Yeah, because that's pretty much like when it goes like late game, she's basically just there to hit people with E at that point. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yep.
sometimes if she's ahead, she can kind of nuke some people, but yeah,
True, 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 true.
depends. I know many seasons ago they used to build like kind of a bruisery AP, I think, Elise, so she's more like tanky, but I don't know. I don't think those days are coming back, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, probably not, but you never know.
All right, go for it.
All right, who is next on the list? We've got a pro play favorite, Gnar. The Mega Gnar Q base damage is going up, and the Mega Gnar W base damage is also going up. So um, two buffs, damage wise. So Q Boulder Toss, that's going up. Actually, this is pretty significantly,
20
actually.
damage,
If
pretty
you look at the
nice.
damage, yeah, like just flat damage right across the board,
Yeah.
as you upgrade. And then the W is also just getting ratios aren't changing, but just flat damage across the board. So I heard I can't remember who said it. There was someone who said this, which I tend to agree with. Whenever there are um, Meganar nerfs or sorry buffs, it's focused towards pro play because the pros are the only ones or like the best ones that always having Meganar at the right time, like
Yep.
whenever they need it, it's like up. So like in solo queue, these damage buffs are nice, but if your top lane Gnar can't manage when he's transforming, it may or may not matter. But pro play, they pretty much have it down to science. So I don't know if this will really make him that good in solo queue, but I think he'll be. Yeah, professionals are already playing this guy. They love this guy, so this will be just more reason to pick him. I think.
Yeah. Uh, agree. I think the Q is a lot bigger than the W. I mean, it's obviously nice buffs, but
Yeah,
I don't think like since you're not Megnar as often as you are Mininar, they aren't like the
yeah,
hugest buffs, so it's kind of like a soft buff. But I think since the Q gets the cooldown pretty much reset, or at least mostly reset, when you pick up the boulder again, the Q can actually be pretty substantial. But uh, once again, since you're not Meganar like all the time, it's not huge, but it's definitely like nice. So they're kind of like safety buffing him, I think.
yeah. Yeah, agreed, agreed. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. All right. So we got Hecarim up next. Says the base mana regeneration and mana regeneration growth are also all increased, and the mana growth is decreased. Okay, got it. And then Q mana cost is reduced or decreased. W mana cost decreased and Omnivamp is decreased. So we got base stats are base mana is 277 to 280. Mana growth is uh, 60 to 40. Base mana regeneration is 6.5 to 7. Mana regeneration growth is zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.8. So pretty much giving him some buffs early a little bit in that
Hmm.
department. And then we got the Q Rampage is mana cost 30 at all ranks to 28 to 20. So straight up you get 2 off the first rank and then um, all the way down to 20. So it's pretty nice actually. You can spam that a lot more, which is kind
Yeah.
of crazy. W Spirit of Dread's mana cost is going from 50 to 90 to 50 to 70, depending on rank, and I mean that's also pretty big. Omnivamp is 25% plus 2% of 100 bonus AD of damage dealt is going from to 20% of damage dealt, so 5% drop there. And this is still post mitigation damage dealt, looks like. So, uh,
Yep.
yeah, thoughts?
Mm, I just hate the lethality Hecarim. So if this is gets them to stop building lethality Hecarim, then I'm all for it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think I think maybe I don't know exactly how he interacts with that, but I think maybe see if it says up there. He's still building Dustblade and Manamune.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it is gonna be a step towards not needing to build that.
pretty much. Freak broke it down quite a bit. Basically, people were building like Dustbait and Manamune, and they don't
Yeah,
really want him to build Manamune or be reliant on it, and so, which is
yeah,
kind of what it says right here. Um, but basically, if he builds Manamune, it's going to be overall a little bit less damage, and if he doesn't build it, it's his mana issues aren't going to be very uh, problematic. So they're basically helping him in terms of mana, and so that we won't have to rely on the Manamune as much.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Because all the mana costs are down, so that makes sense.
yep,
Yeah,
pretty much. So that's
makes
pretty
sense.
nice. I
Yeah,
think it's pretty cool for him. Kind of scary. I hope people don't like start picking him a ton, but he's
yeah,
definitely pretty strong. I think maybe Secret OP if he builds the right way, which I don't think Duskblade is, but we shall see.
yeah. It's that's more annoying than I think like OP. It's just annoying, but
Yeah,
yeah. Interesting. So far, these changes have been
pretty
I
tame.
think pretty tame, and also like what they're changing makes sense for like the goals that they're saying, which doesn't always line up. So
Yeah,
um,
true,
they seem like well thought out so far, but
true.
we'll see if that keeps up.
Yeah.
Okay, pretty straightforward here. Kane, WAD ratio is decreased, so it is going from see on his W blades reach. It's going from 90 to 270 and then 130 bonus plus 130% of your bonus AD in terms of damage to 85 at rank 1 to 265. So the flat damage, let me just check. Flat damage is down at every rank by 5. And then the bonus scaling is down by 20%. So, yep, they're just basically taking a chunk of damage uh, out of his W. So I think I think that probably yeah, right now Shadow Assassin outperforms Dark and Kane, especially at higher skill brackets. Yeah, I was gonna say I think that like I think Blue Kane cares about this way more than
Yep,
Red Kane because Blue
100%.
Kane is the one building damage. So I think that is yeah. If they want to nerf Blue Kane, then that feels like a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah,
What is this quality of life? Kane now restores himself to maximum health and mana upon transforming. Oh, okay. So when he transforms, he gets full health and mana, which,
I
okay,
like it.
cool. Yep, seems fine. Seems fine.
Acceptable.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, pretty much same idea. I completely agree with what you're saying. Pretty much just like they're trying to nerf him overall, but mostly Shadow Assassin, and that's pretty much what they did. So pretty straightforward there.
Yeah. 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 That seems good.
All right, and then which I like because I don't like playing against Kane ever, so it's cool.
Yeah. And
I
the
like
W, the like a Fed Shadow Assassin W is super super annoying.
pretty
So,
chunky, yeah.
yeah, it's doesn't have a ton of counterplay when he's like zooming at you. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I like it.
It's good. All right, so we got Kha'Zix up next. Pretty simple. QAD ratio is decreased. Um, Taste of Fear, physical damage, everything's the same in the base damage, but the bonus AD ratio is down by 5%. So it goes 115%
Okay.
to 110%. Uh, cool. I'm cool with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems good. Just a little damage out.
Yeah.
He's in a pretty good spot, I think. So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
pretty
maybe
much. All
wanna pull him
right.
back. That yeah, nothing to write home about though.
No.
Kindred. E slow and percent missing health damage is decreased. So E, let's see, physical damage. It doesn't change in terms of flat damage across the ranks, but does it change? Bonus AD remains the same. The percent bonus AD, 80% both times. So it's really in that last little part, which is the missing targets missing health, how it kind of plays into the bonus damage there. So it's going from 8% to 5%. So just down. I mean, depending on how much health they have, that could be significant. Like if it's a really tanky target with a lot of missing health. But
Hmm.
um, yep, damage is just down slightly, and then actually that slowdown is that feels like more significant than me.
Yeah.
50% slow down to 30% slow. Um, like the damage, yeah, it could be tough, but the slow, that's pretty massive. I feel like you'll notice that immediately.
Yep. That's a pretty big one right there. That's, I think, the main thing. I mean, it's definitely nice. 3%. I mean, not good for her, obviously, but it's a
Yeah.
nice change to down the target's missing health by 3%. But the slow is pretty nice, which I think it was a little bit too much, I think. Um,
Yeah.
so I think this is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, all right, let's go on to Lux then. We got a bunch of changes here. Um,
Interesting.
so I think what I was hearing is that they wanted her to be pretty pretty good as a mid laner, and then try not to
Okay.
buff her support, or actually try to nerf her support a little bit because it's a little bit too much. Um,
Sure.
all right,
Sure.
so basically the base mana regeneration is going from 8 to 7, and then we got her passive is going up in damage, so we've got it goes from 20 to 190 plus 20% AP to 30 to 200 plus 25% AP. So getting plus 10 pretty much on all the base damage, and then plus 5% with the AP scaling. So pretty nice for her little trades. Um, and then we got the Q light binding cooldowns going from 11 seconds at all ranks to 11 to 9 seconds. So that's actually worth putting a few points into now, basically, because a lot of people were just pretty much maxing E at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps. I would say it kind of helps both, but I think it helps mid lane just a little bit more. Um, and then the E Lucent Singularity is going from 70 to 270 base damage to 65 to 265. So basically just down by 5 every level.
Yeah.
Pretty simple there.
I I don't know if this really nerfs or like makes her not be a support anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're trying to remove her from support, but like it's it doesn't hit her too hard, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, the AP scaling going up will always favor mid lane because they buy more AP, but I don't
Pretty
know,
much.
the Q cooldown going down. I feel like support Lux will be just as happy as um, mid lane Lux on that. But yeah, maybe it is better like for trades in mid lane, so maybe it is slightly
Yeah.
better,
I
like you
think
said.
mid lane Lux uses Q a lot more. And
Hmm.
then pretty much support just maxes East for the poke, right? So
Yeah,
it's
it makes sense.
I
It
don't know.
makes sense.
I think Freak explained it pretty well in his video, but I honestly don't even remember all he said about it. But I thought it made pretty much decent sense. But that was a while ago, like a few days ago at least. So I think they could
Mm.
have hot fixed a little bit of the changes.
If
So
it was freak, it probably had a lot of math in it. So
yeah, yeah, for
yeah,
sure. All right.
let's see what's our favorite
Favorite.
dog champion, Nafiri. Coming to I heard coming to TFT in the next patch too. By the way,
Ooh, okay.
yeah. So base health is going down, passive cooldown is going up. Packmates now take bonus damage from melee attacks. Cool. Q damage and heal decreased. E damage decreased. So I think seems like they're hitting her pretty hard across the board. Let's see. Base health going down. Yeah, that'll hurt. Um, Packmates will now take 100% bonus damage from melee attacks. Um, so I guess it'll just make it easier for melee characters to just like clear the little dogs quicker.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um, they might even be able at certain points to just like one shot them. I'm not sure. Um, let's see. Yeah, I guess was she like I didn't think she was because hadn't they nerfed her once before already? Like
Yeah, I
maybe
think
last
maybe
patch or
even
the patch
twice.
before.
Yeah, they've
I,
been
I didn't
chain
feel
nerfing her.
like I mean, what do you think? I didn't feel like she was like crazy strong anymore, but maybe she still was.
Yeah, no, I don't think she was that strong to be honest, but from what I'm gathering is that every time they've been nerfing her, it's because that she's apparently performing really well in low elo, particularly. Pretty much at
Okay,
high elo, she's not really that crazy, but what they've been saying is she's good in all brackets, so I don't know. Um,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, because
I
this
don't.
is just like nerfs, like
Yeah,
on pretty much a lot of her kit, like top to bottom.
yep, it's
So,
pretty crazy.
which is kind of sad because she will be um enabled, I believe, for Worlds.
Yep, yep,
But if they nerf her into Oblivion, then she might get played. I
yeah.
mean, she's already not getting played in pro play, so I'd be like really shocked if she maybe some like some weird. I heard the
Maybe play-ins.
yeah, maybe play-ins. I heard my favorite team. Here's my early Worlds prediction: the Flying Oysters made it back to
Hey,
Worlds.
let's
So
go.
I feel like my boys, the Flying Oysters, might bust out the Fury,
I mean, we
and
can hope, right?
yeah, you never know.
But yeah, I don't think she's really good enough to be in pro right now.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
She's a pretty simple champion too.
Yeah, which is why it's surprising that it sounds like Riot's concerned that she's good at low elo because I feel like that was, you know, that was kind of like they designed her to be like a lower skill champion in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine.
And then they're like, oh, now we're mad that she's good at the lower skill brackets. It's like, well, I thought that was your goal.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, should we move on to the next one then?
Yeah.
All right, so got Oriana here. Health growth is going up by 5, and then her W command dissonance is going from the magic damage is going 60 to 240 to 70 to 270. Wow, that's pretty large. And then the AP is
Hmm.
staying the same. So up 10 every so it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So I mean that's pretty big. This is like her main damage pretty much other than her Q. Um,
Yeah.
so this is pretty nice. They've been kind of chain buffing actually Oriana. So I think it's pretty reasonable to say we could see her at Worlds. I think she's fairly strong, but it depends on like the meta pretty much, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a champion that I think has been in the pro meta enough times that like it wouldn't take much at this point for the like a bunch of people to start like pro teams to pick her back up because
Yep,
a lot of them have a lot of games and practice on Oriana. So
true.
yeah, I think that we'll see in the next couple patches because I don't know if they've said what patch worlds will get played on. Um,
Uh, I
but it probably won't be this one. It might be like one or two more,
I
if I had to
think it's
guess.
supposed to be 19.19 or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, I'm not
So she
100%,
might she
but
might get play off of this, but I mean, if we see her again in patch notes between now and then, I feel like she'll definitely show up.
yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. Quinn. Health growth is going up. Q base damage is going down, and E base damage is also decreased. So, and I even just see right there. So they're kind of doing the Akshan treatment or
Yep.
the like you were saying the solo lane marksman treatment, making her a little bit more tankier with the growth health going up, and then just to compensate for the tankiness, tuning down. I don't think it's that big of a nerf. I'm just trying to see what it, it's like. Yeah, it's basically just like Akshan. It's like five damage per rank on the Q, and I think you play some Quen, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Not. It's been a while
Do
actually, but
do you put points? I don't know if they put points too heavily into E,
so
or do
it
you save that?
depends.
Okay.
It depends on a lot of things, but I don't play her enough to like be like, oh, this is what all the one tricks do. But
Yeah,
basically if you want wave clear, you max Q, and if you want dueling power, you max E. But a lot of times they'll put like 3 points into Q and then pretty much the rest in E and stuff like that. So um, I would say a lot of time it's gonna be the E. Um,
Yeah,
but I think a lower elo would probably max Q if I had to guess.
makes sense. Yeah.
20
So
damage is
I
pretty
don't think this
nice.
will like, yeah, I don't think this will like, maybe by max, yeah, like you said, max rank, you'll probably feel it, but
It's
early
only
on,
10
it'll
by the
feel,
third rank.
yeah, that's what I mean. I think early on, it'll feel pretty good to have that extra durability. But then late game, yeah, you might feel like you're missing a bit of damage late. Like I think that's noticeable.
Yeah. Uh, so basically they're trying to slow down her combat pattern, get her to relying on attack speed and less on kill or be killed burst. So
Yeah,
this is what
that
they've been
makes
doing for a
sense.
long time for with Quinn especially. It's just she was like this burst pretty much. Like you do a full combo and if you're weaving in your passive, you're like gonna kill them pretty much with
Yep,
lethality. But they've been having her do a lot of different stuff now. So um, just trying
yeah,
to have her a little bit tankier since she's a solo laner building crit.
yep.
All right, and then Samira's gonna go. Oh, this is a super quick one. Base health increased by 30.
Yep,
When we're done.
done.
uh,
Uh,
I like
Seems
it.
good. She'll 30 extra health.
She's pretty squishy, so I mean I can understand. It's fine. Looks good to me.
Yeah, especially one who like, I mean, she likes to play. She's a little more like in your face of an
Yep,
ADC,
she's got
so
to be more damage
she'll,
or
yeah,
put herself
she'll
in more danger
yeah, she'll enjoy the extra health.
for sure.
Cool. Tryndamere, our
Here's the big one.
favorite top laner. Oh, gross. I already saw it. Attack range increase, attack damage decreased. So he does slightly less damage, which, yep, that's fine. It's very minimal. Uh, and his attack range goes from 125 to 175. Let me see. Okay, they do give an example. So, quite a few other melee skirmishers are at 175 range. So think Trundle, Master Yi, and Darius.
Hmm.
Um, feel like I feel like that's a pretty big. I feel like it's a nice buff for Tryndamere.
Yeah,
Even though he lost a little bit of damage, I feel like in theory, if he's like looking to trade, he will probably get a whole extra auto
auto.
attack. Or
Yep,
you're right, because he can hit you
pretty
earlier
much. Yeah,
or hit you again as you run away. So even though the damage is down slightly, I mean, you'll take that to get a whole extra attack, I think. So
yeah.
this
Like
could
I
be
think in the
pretty
long
good.
run, like the whole entire game, your damage might be a little lower than it used to be, of course. But like
Hmm.
I don't even know if it would be honestly, especially like mid to late, especially, because the attack range is pretty nice. You'll get, like you said, you'll get that extra auto attack pretty much almost guaranteed, which is like, I mean, 4AD is not gonna matter in that case, especially when you're doing crits all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What I'd be curious is those other champions they named, Trundle, Yi, and Darius. I feel like they all eventually like to group up and team fight, but Tryndamere, he just likes to split push forever. So
Yeah,
I'll be curious how oppressive that extra range feels when someone's trying to stop him from split pushing. I think it could be. I don't think it makes him like busted, but I feel like it's going to make him a lot stronger.
yeah, seems like a really big buff. All right, so we got Twisted Fate. This is a simple one. They just upped the AP ratio on his Q by 10%.
Mm,
I think just to help him
nice.
with wave clear, pretty much.
Yeah.
They want him to be in pro play, but I don't know if it's gonna matter because that's not what's gating him from pro play.
People don't I've heard people say they don't like Twisted Fate as much in pro play because the other mid laner will just pick Silas. Um
Okay, yeah.
and then they say like Silas will steal his ult and then like they just have a champion that's stronger than Twisted Fate with a Twisted
Yeah,
Fate ult at that point.
that's true.
So
Yeah.
I've actually heard from like different pros that it's almost nothing to do with like TF himself that gates him, but it's the fact that there's like the existence of Silas that makes it so teams don't like to pick him.
That's fair. I mean, you could ban Silas, but that's a whole ban, so it's like, is it really worth it?
Yeah, and like to us, it's like, yeah, just ban him, right? But because that's what I do in solo queue. But then they're like, well, if we ban Silas, then we have to
Can't ban
leave
something
up.
else.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, it's like a whole thing. So,
Yeah. All right.
yup, yup, yup.
All right. So we got Vex is up next.
Let's see what Vex has going on. Q base damage increased, W cooldown decreased. So two buffs going into Vex here.
Woo.
Um, that's nice. Yeah, Vex. Love to see it. It looks like ratio stays the same on Q, but base damage is going up at every single rank, um, which is
Yep.
nice. And then W cooldown, which is W's a really good skill. It's great to have it up more because that's like a really. I mean, you play more Vex than me, but I feel like that's like her primary defensive tool in lane.
Yeah, it is. It's so big.
So that feels like. I mean, the damage is awesome. But I feel like that W cooldown, like, look, even at rank one, it goes down 4 seconds. That feels pretty big.
Yeah, it
Of-
is. um, her Q. So this is just a little bit nicer, just slightly nicer for early levels because the base damage is not going to matter by 10, really. But you do spam it quite a bit, so I guess if you hit him with like 20, 20 Qs, then you might
Sure.
be a lot of damage. But yeah, the W cooldown's like the big thing here. It's going down by 4 seconds on rank one. That's
Yeah.
huge, especially for
Which
her
you
main defensive spell.
like, if you want to think about it this way, that 16 used to be her rank three cooldown on
Yeah,
W.
exactly.
So it's like having a rank three W in terms of cooldown, but just like right out of the gate. So that feels really good.
It's really nice because her cooldowns are the main reason why this champion is, in my opinion, isn't picked very much. Um,
Hmm.
because they're very long. Her Q cooldown's very long. Her W cooldown, her Q can get pretty low, but it's still a decent, like decent cooldown, even if you get it all the way like maxed, unless you're building like a ton of ability haste, which is not incredibly easy to find, but it is
Yeah.
not too hard to find, I guess. But yeah, her W being down by 4 seconds is so nice for her because that's her main problem, I would say, especially into like some melee matchups, such as like people that want to get into your face. Um, it's just that she has to W one time a fight or you're dead, and like if you can get a second one in it, that could be pretty nice.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool for her.
Yeah. All right, so we got Vi up next. So we got passive shield health, scaling is increased, W cooldown reduction increased, E cooldown decreased, and also R damage is decreased. So some interesting buffs and nerfs. First off, we got the passive blast shield. Oh, I think this is actually a overall buff. I want to figure out exactly how it works, but yeah. Um, so shield strength is going from 10% of Vi's max health to 12%. So that's pretty nice. W Tempting Blows passive cooldown reduction is going from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Uh, I don't know what her. Let's see what how long her cooldown is on her passive.
On the shield,
Yeah, I don't remember. It's been too long. Let me just check real
it
fast.
I feel like it's not that.
16 to 12. Okay.
Yeah, if I was
So
gonna say, I think it's like similar to her E cooldown. So that
16 to
does that
12.
make sense?
Kinda, yeah.
Kind of. Oh, because it has two procs or something. Yeah, I just remember I always proc it with her E, so maybe
Yeah,
that's
pretty
what's
much.
yeah.
Yeah, so when people were explaining this in the previews of the patch, they were saying that the passive would get completely reset just by hitting one W, but I think that's what they must have walked that back or something. Um, or I was just misunderstanding. I'm not sure, but I mean, this is basically three. And so instead of four procs of your W, it's three procs of your W to
Hmm.
activate it.
Hmm.
But I mean, your the cooldown's also counting down while you're procking it, like while you're autoing to proc it. So it's probably like pretty much two. two W's and your passive's back up. So it's pretty nice, honestly. Um, and then you got your E Relentless Forces going from cooldown 14 to 8 to 12 to 8. So just a flat 2 going like level 1. So that's really nice. That's one of her most used abilities, and it's a lot of her wave clear. And it's also just like really nice to get that extra like auto reset in. So I think this is actually pretty nice, pretty large. And
Yeah.
then got the cease and desist. The R physical damage is going uh, down in second level by 50, and then down by 100 in the third level, and then also by 20% bonus AD. It's going down. So
I think
base. Go ahead.
that's not a big deal as much because I feel like she was using R for like lockdown and not necessarily like executing a target. So I don't think that loss of damage on R is a big deal.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, I think it's pretty fine. I think they were trying to have people pick her more for her kit than just for her R.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, but I mean, these are pretty nice buff. Like it's literally just buffs all around, in my opinion. Like I mean, this is not too big of a deal. I don't think people pick her R because of her R's damage. I think they pick it because of the CC.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
like you're saying, so I think pretty cool. Any more thoughts or?
No, I think she was like really big in pro play, and then there's still some people who pick her. But yeah, I think she'll still probably the R is just like lockdown it has is really big for pro play, so I feel like she'll still pop up from time to time there.
Yeah. So basically, they're saying they want her to not max E as much and max her W,
Hmm.
which is what Freak was also saying. So
Yeah, that makes
looks
sense.
cool. All right, so we
Ooh,
got Xerath is next.
Zareth, base mana regeneration decreased. Passive cooldown refunded on kill is increased, and W mana cost increase. So this already tells me that this might be um, kind of the same thing they did with Lux. Like they're trying to. Let me see if they say his mid win rate is currently in a reasonable spot, but will be nerfing access to mana in a way that targets him as a support and doesn't affect mid. Yeah, so I guess they don't want him to be like support as much.
Yeah, pretty much the same
Yeah,
thing like you were saying as
what they
Lux.
were
They
doing with
just
Lux, right? Yeah,
yeah, they don't want him to buff his support, but they do want to buff his mid pretty much.
yeah.
Um,
That can always. That's like I feel like that's one of the hardest like lines to
lines to
walk with
yeah,
these like mages who could be supporter mid because it I feel like it's very hard to buff one without it affecting their other role. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Cooldown. I don't play a ton of this guy, so it's hard for me to say cooldown refunded on unit kill. I mean, obviously, if you're that's nice because you're not really farming when you're support Zareth, so that's like a non-factor
yeah,
in terms of like getting refunds on kills, unit kills. So that makes sense why they would buff that to help mid lane.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah, mana costs going up. Yeah, that does. I mean, I guess you build more mana as mid, so yeah, it makes sense. They're just trying to make him less attractive as a support. But yeah, seems good.
All right, nice. My boy, my
He's
man.
here. He's here. What are they doing to him?
So they got passive heals adjusted. So basically, the TLDR is they moved it from scaling off of AD to
Hmm.
scaling off of maximum health. So the heal on the third stack of his passive is going from a flat 6 to 74 to percentage 3% to 4% of maximum health. And it still has the AP scaling is the same, and it's levels 1, 16, and 11, so it doesn't scale linearly either by level. So this is a good thing to read, so I'm just gonna read that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much what Freak said in his rundown as well. The math on determination, which is the passive, works out to be a strict buff with no item purchases at all, a nerf if every item gives AD and no health, and a buff with even a single hybrid durability item like Trinity Force, Gore Drinker, or Black Cleaver. So they want him to opt for more tankier options, basically. But
Interesting.
they
Okay.
yeah they don't want him to be he's they don't want him to be like hard, just like slamming damage one shot potential. Um, and they're changing him this way. So it's interesting. I haven't done the math and I have not played it on PvE, so I don't know exactly how it works. But um, basically, there just is what that just said. It's like it's supposed to be an overall buff unless you're building like full AD without any health. So I think as long as you're building like I think 300 health, bonus health, it's just a buff overall, is what I heard.
Hmm.
So, which I
It
mean,
also
all you can,
says it's a strict buff with no items purchased at all, so just
yeah,
don't buy any items and
right,
it'll be
exactly. You're supposed to go
it's a
itemless,
buff.
since
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That's the
No
next video
items.
idea.
Yeah, exactly. No items. The freak said it. He said that it's a buff if you buy no items.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, it's interesting. I gotta do some testing, but I think honestly, well, if that's true, if you're just building 300 bonus health and it's just straight better, doesn't matter how much AD or health you build after that, then I think it's fine because I think you should be building at least one health item for most of his builds. Obviously, like the full crit build or like the full on hit build, maybe not, but like you could get a Black Cleaver or Spear of Shogun is actually getting some big buffs. We'll see later on this in this patch. So if you're building something like that, that's gonna be. I mean, you're just it's just better. So yeah.
This is the video, but you need to do it on an account that you don't care about. You just build no items, and then when people flame you, just copy pasta that line from the patch notes.
There you go.
The math is actually a strict buff with no
Look,
items.
Freak told me. That's all I gotta say.
It's good. It's
Blame
good.
the game, not the player.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, Zoe. This will probably be the last champion.
Yep.
Because I don't think I guess Zyra technically could be after Zoe, but yeah,
Whoop,
okay, items.
whoop, whoop.
So let's see what they're doing with Zoe here. Base health regeneration is increased, and magic resistance reduction is also increased. Um, so buffs across the board, and I don't know. I feel like she's in a fine spot. Let's see how big the buffs are. More tanky. Okay, sure. One. But what is the Sleepy Trouble Bubble? This is her main ability. This is why you pick Zoe, is for the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. So the magic resistance reduction, which is basically when she hits you and puts you to sleep with that bubble, this is why she hits so hard. Like after the fact is because it's like shredding your MR.
Plus
So
bonus damage. Yep, yep.
plus bonus damage. Yeah, yeah. So we're moving the scaling need on the MR shred, which effectively doesn't too much, but we're also upping our base health. So is this feels like a buff, right? 30% at all
Yeah,
ranks, which is
it is.
the max rank shred. So are they are they doing this? Well, I guess it depends what else goes into the E, but I would say like on the face value, more consistently. I would say it means that it's not as dependent to put like pump ranks into E, but I still feel like you're gonna rank E up first. It's just so like I feel like there's other reasons to rank E up besides the shred, but
Yeah. I think you rank Q first in terms of like maxing them, but um,
mm.
or are you talking about like
you
support?
know Yeah, I was about to say you get okay. Let me clarify. I only play Zoe support,
Okay,
so
okay.
I gotta make that a caveat. So sorry.
There
When
you good.
I play Zoe, I max E because I am playing support Zoe. But yeah, no, that's actually a fair point. Mid lane Zoe probably does not do that. And this will be a really nice buff because you'll get that extra shred even at the very beginning of the game. So yeah, that's nice. Nice buff for mid lane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Oh, now I don't need to elaborate there. uh,
Boom.
Moving straight into the items, we got Bloodthirster is going from the Engorge health requirement for bonus AD is going from above 50% health to above 70% health. So a little bit of a nerf on it just to if you want that bonus AD from the passive, you
Mhm.
got to be above 70% total health. So
Yep, yep, yep.
simple,
Let's just say, yeah, no, makes sense. Makes sense. Um, Not too much to say on Bloodthirster.
pretty much. I
Duskblade.
think it's
Yeah,
bad,
Duskblade. I think it's yeah, I don't think that's why I don't have too much to say on it. It's like I don't know, it's like a non-item right now.
pretty much.
I don't yeah, I don't see it a whole lot. Duskblade, they've been doing stuff with Duskblade a lot. So let's see what they do here. Um, to make this passive the same as other untargetable effects minus the tower blocking. So removed like Stalker passive changed to match other untargeted Duskblade will still not block towers. Removed no longer makes the owner immune to damage, but slippery now destroys incoming non-tower projectiles when triggered. So we're removing the damage immunity from the passive, as we believe that if you have a kill confirmed with something like Ignite, you should still get that kill, and it should not be denied by Duskblade. So I don't. That feels like I'm trying to get my brain to understand this. This feels like a really like a really specific scenario. Like you're
Pretty
about to
much.
kill them, and like the auto. Is this good if you're Duskblade? Is this bad?
Yeah,
You have to
so
kill.
so this so if you're like yeah, exactly what like you're saying, if you're auto attacking or if you're something that's like a lock-on type of ability that you
It's
cast
already in the
before it
air,
triggers,
basically.
yeah, then it will
Yeah.
destroy it if it's not a tower. If it's a tower, it
Okay.
won't destroy it. And then um, you aren't immune to damage while you're untargetable, which I
Okay.
did not know this was a thing. I feel like that's a bug because I'm pretty sure I've taken damage while I was ulting or
Okay. I got it.
while I was untargetable, but I'm not sure. Um, and then Night Stalker Pact has been changed to match other targetable effects. So
Whew. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. We got there. So basically,
it's weird.
if something's in the air and it procs, then that attack in the air is going to disappear. But if there's already damage ticking on you, like ignite or like a burn or something, when it procs, it's still going to tick even though it's procced.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
basically what it's
much.
saying. Okay,
Yep.
got it. Understood.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
pretty
Ooh, we
straightforward.
got there.
I
We
think
got
this
there. We
item's
got there.
actually kind of way overrated and kind of bad, but
Yeah, they've hit it so many times that I don't think it's that good anymore.
yeah, I think it's well, they still don't want people to build this if you're not an assassin. So,
Yes. Yeah.
but people are. All
Well, I think
right.
I think that passive is just so good that like or it's like potentially good that like a lot of people want to make use of it.
Yeah,
Like the
pretty much.
untargetability, yeah. Yeah.
So even shrouds, damage amp is going from 10% to 7%, so just down by 3% in terms of amplifying your allies' damage. I don't. Give me your thoughts on what you think of this item, because I think it's actually really bad and kind of overpurchased personally. But I know a lot of people, a lot of sports still buy it quite a bit. So
So I'm kind of sad because I agree with you. It's I think it's like a cool it's a cool concept for an item. This is overperforming and is so strong. I think it's like a cool concept. Like to me it's like the it's like a cool alternative to Locket, where like Locket you're building to soak damage for your team, and then you build Even Shroud to help your team dish out more damage. I personally never built it before they like did the mini rework on it, where they super lowered the cost and like upped some of its stats.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so then so I never built it, and now I like very occasionally build it.
Okay.
Um, and I feel like now I'll probably just go back to never building it.
Okay, good.
So,
I like
it
that.
makes me sad. It makes me sad.
Oh,
But okay, yep. It's because I
fair.
like having choices, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
true.
know. I think like it is
That's
low
good.
cost, but the stats are just not it.
Yeah. And like I said in here, basically a lot of people were buying it because of its price, and so they're getting like they're poaching it cross class. So like other classes were buying it, and because of its like stat line and this build path all match like Locket, so
Yep.
uh, people were buying it even though they weren't supports, which is pretty much why they're nerfing it overall. But yeah,
Yep.
um,
Yep.
Gore Drinker is going changing the item recipe to from Caulfield's Warhammer to Phage, and the total cost is unchanged. And then we got it's going 300 to 400 HP. So I mean that's nice for Gore Drinker. I think pretty under purchased overall. I think it's
Yeah.
actually still quite good for what it does. So I think I mean it's pretty nice buff, 100 HP.
Yeah. Agreed. That's nice. People, I don't think people who wouldn't already buy it are gonna just magically start to buy it, but
Yeah,
the people who do or can go Gold Drinker, I think will appreciate the buff
yeah.
for sure. The shield bow is a little weak. Yeah, agreed, agreed. I don't see too many shield bows. Okay, there's even a bigger shield. Bigger shield.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
it's going
Level
actually
11.
kind of yeah, level the initial shielding life on shield levels 11, 18, level 11 too. Yeah, so at level 11 it's going to have a nice little amp in terms of how much it shields. Which I think is probably nice because I don't ever since it wasn't a mythic, I don't really see a lot of people build shield bow anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, Yeah, it's just so usually you aren't really buying it before level 11 anyway.
Yeah.
Because your second item usually, if you're buying it your first item, you're not buying this. It's a waste of money, kind of, because
Yeah.
they don't want it to be a good first item purchase, and it's just not.
Yeah. No, it's
So
not. It's not.
yeah, all right, and then Spear of Shojin's the next one. So this is a pretty big buff. They've been buffing this a lot, so I consider this a
Yeah.
pretty big buff as well. So basically, item recipe is changing a little bit from BF sword to pickaxe basically, and the reason why that is just because they're going down by 5 AD. That's all that's changing in terms of nerfs.
Okay.
No
Yep.
one cares.
Yep.
Combined
Nope. That
costs,
seems fine.
yeah, it goes from 100 to 525 just because BF swords cloth costs more than pickaxe. Total cost is the same. Still really good item for its price. And health is going so you lose 5 AD, get 150 AD, so you get a full Kindle gem.
Yep. Seems good.
Dragon Force is the passive, and that's let's see, I don't remember exactly what. So it's going from the base is 8, it's going to 16. So it's the bonus AD is getting changed in half, so it's going from 8% bonus AD to 4% bonus AD, and that's the scaling for the haste. And then of course it changes between whether you're a melee or a ranged champion. And
Says it's a
if you,
buff before 200 bonus AD.
yes, pretty
So
much.
yeah, I feel like it's making people build this quicker or like as an earlier item. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people were building it as like a maybe third at earliest, fourth, fifth
Yeah.
item, and now I think it's pretty easily to go like second or third. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's like really good buff. It also says it goes from 6 base for range to 12 base, so that's also a buff for ranged as well. But it's also going down by 1% bonus 80. So they're just the scaling is a little bit less, but the base is a lot higher. So basically, you don't need to build it late to get the scaling to make it like more worth it. So the earlier you build it, you're not going to be hurting as much, basically. And you're getting a lot more health, which through 500 is a lot of health. Plus, from especially from an offensive item, and only losing
Yeah.
580 is really not going to matter like at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. You'll trade 580 for that much extra health any day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Got any further thoughts or?
No, none of the champions I buy or play really buy this, but
That's fair.
even like not ever building this item, it's pretty clearly a pretty nice buff. Just like
Yeah. This
looking at
item
it,
is
yeah,
so strong. Also, the Hecarim buffs or like nerfs or like changes
yeah,
earlier. This item is incredibly good on Hecarim. That's one thing
yeah.
that,
Like this plus that his buffs alone will make him maybe pretty scary.
yeah, exactly. So could see a lot of Hecarim. We'll see. Um, I think it's very possible because those are pretty big buffs. But
Yeah,
yeah, I want to build this a lot earlier on Zin. A lot of times I was building it like fourth or fifth item. Now I'm willing to build it like second or third even,
yeah,
depending on the game and stuff. I mean, maybe I could try it first, but I don't know if it's quite that strong. But it is like 500 health is really big, especially for someone like
yeah,
him where he needs like at least one health item like Black Cleaver or Spear would work now because it's so much.
yeah. No, it's nice. It's nice. Our old friend Static Shiv. They're still trying to get it right. Let's see. Just having the AP ratio. So, um, I guess they are. Yeah, I was about to say is LeBlanc in here. So, um, yes. So it's interesting. They don't mind it on like hybrid champions, like they said, like Kai'Sa and Varus, but they hate Static Shiv in like LeBlanc's hands because it gives her too much wave clear. Um, so I'm trying to remember. They nerfed it AP wise to try and remove it from LeBlanc's build, but there was some reason that she just. Okay, so what it was, they wanted it to like nerf her wave clear, but then all the LeBlanc players just started building minion or going that the rune path that gives you minion dematerializer.
Yep.
So apparently with that, even the nerfed static shift still gave her like really OP wave clear. So um good job, LeBlanc players. They're on you. They're on you. You couldn't get away for it. You couldn't keep getting away with it, and uh your AP ratios are reduced even further. Yeah,
I just
that's
feel
that's
bad for
that's
this
sad.
item. I so in the original like release of it when it was still like what 50% or something and it
Yeah,
actually applied to the on-hit damage not against like against champions and minions.
yeah.
Um or no, I mean it applied to minions as well and yeah, so anyways, it was I don't know, I thought it was pretty weak, but this is just I feel bad for Static Shiv. It's gotten way too many nerfs. I
I know.
understand, but like there's got to be better ways of doing this.
They're just gonna nerf it until it's not in the game again.
Probably.
That's
I
how it
hope
has to
not,
go.
but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a cool idea for an item, so I hope it doesn't go away. But yeah, they
Yeah.
keep
I
hating
mean,
on it.
I'd be okay with it returning to its previous form. I think
Yeah,
old stack ship
yeah,
was really satisfying, and it wasn't
yeah,
as wave clear. Like it was wave clear, but like it didn't bounce up to 12 targets and stuff, within
yeah. Well, the
600
problem
range
is
of each other.
they put the old static shiv on the hex tech dragon, so
True. Yeah.
they had to make this one stand out.
That's
So
fair, I guess. I
yeah,
mean, I'd be okay with it like stacking. That'd be cool.
yeah. True.
Stridebreaker. Uh, Interesting. They're giving it 75 more health. They're saying it's strong, which I think it's pretty decent. Like I don't think it's bad. But apparently they're buffing it because they want more people to build it. So interesting. Any thoughts or
No, I don't know. It's not. Wait, can you scroll up really? Not the back. What was the gore drinker changes? I
oh
just want
yeah.
to see how it compares. Um, I mean, yeah, like they gave Gore Drinker 100 health, and then they're
Mm-hmm.
giving Stridebreaker
75.
okay, like 75 health. So, pretty comparable, I guess. And I guess they're saying Stridebreaker was already in a better spot than Gore Drinker. So,
Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much.
I don't know. I don't think it's. I think pretty much my thoughts are exactly the same as the Gore Drinker one. Like, I don't think people are gonna just start building this out of nowhere, but the people who already were will just feel better about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't think like you're gonna start seeing like crazy champions buy this.
Buff and bruisers.
Yep.
Futures markets.
Futures
Oh, sorry.
market.
Go ahead.
No, no, I was surprised to see futures market in the patch notes. What the heck?
Yeah.
What could possibly be wrong with futures market? Debt limit starts at 145 plus 5 per minute. So is simply overperforming Rune and constantly being picked by junglers more so than any other role. This change should help balance the Rune options with slightly lower jungle power. Okay, so this is the buff starting at 18 minutes, but I feel like you, well,
Before then, it's a nerf. Yeah.
yeah. Uh,
Basically, what I got from it is from what Freak was saying, and I think LS maybe too. They were saying that junglers were abusing this because they could get a lot of early purchases and like items just
okay,
from
fair.
building this because like it doesn't their recall timers don't matter quite as much. Like they do matter, but like they aren't as crucial as lane players.
Yeah.
So they were abusing
I
it basically.
um I think they just need to make inspiration tree better.
Yeah, same.
That's because I mean I'm not a jungler, so all that might be true, but the support champions that I build futures market on is just because I don't like I don't have anything better to pick, so I just pick futures market.
Oh really?
I think so. I'm trying to think who I go futures market on. What is that in line with? Is that in the same line as like the boots, like the free boots, and then
Yes, and I think also actually I don't want to lie. I'm not sure. I
yeah,
think it might be as the stopwatch as well, but
yeah. It is, it is
yeah.
something like that. I
I
think
mean,
I don't remember who I built it on. I think I built it on Janna, and maybe that's as bad. Maybe I shouldn't build futures market on Janna.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to revisit some choices here. I'm gonna look into that.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So we got systems are getting changed. So catch-up experience in the jungle has mostly been working as intended, but there have been a few unusual cases that have cropped up where it doesn't feel like the enemy is truly behind enough to be getting catch-up experience. So this is usually due to the way the average level calculation was rounding. So in some cases, a player was just barely over 2 levels down from the average, which ended up rounding to 3 levels below, and thus triggering catch-up experience. So shifting around the way it works to not always round up, and thus solve a lot of these rare cases, so that it doesn't feel like the enemy jungler is unfairly clawing their way back into the game. So
Hmm.
kind of a
Okay.
quality of life, but like it matters.
Yeah, for sure.
um,
Dragging patience. Okay,
so
that's just also quality of life. It's
yeah,
just they're adding the
this is
patience bar so you
so
can see.
nice.
Yeah, because
I like this.
I feel like the dragon did some like weird stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's just hard to keep track of it and how big it was. Cause like you could
Hmm.
reset it a lot, but like once you reset it that just one extra time, it's like
Yep.
gaining 1,000 extra health just immediately almost.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like,
okay.
well, okay. Yep.
I mean,
Guess we're not doing this anymore. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. That's a good. Both those are good. The catch up and then this are good. Good changes.
yeah, it's really nice. All right. They're changing the dragon AI as well, so this might be a little bit more than that too. But yeah,
Yeah.
it means no more silly behaviors like the dragon doing jumping squats mid-fight. All
Good.
right.
Good.
ARM
Good.
adjustments we don't really care about, I don't think. Pause it if you want to see. Blue Essence Emporium's back. Let's go. Starting on September 6th.
Nice.
until the 20th. So pretty much 2 weeks. Grab stuff while you can. Save up your
Yep, yep,
blue
yep.
essence. This patch will be releasing illustration icons for 164 champions. These will be available for direct purchase in the shop for 250 RP each. So yeah, just some cool new icons. If you want to drop some bank.
Do it.
Uh,
Did we hear if anybody wanted us to go through bug fixes?
no, no one said anything about the bug fixes. So if you want to pause it, feel free. Sometimes there are big stuff in there, so it's worth taking a look at. But got some cosmic paladin or matriarch skins going on. The
Hey, that
Nautilus.
Cosmic Paladin Nautilus looking pretty good
Yes,
though.
sir.
Looking pretty good.
I like that.
Yeah, let's look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Got that legend. Does he not
Yeah, I
have a
might.
cosmic skin already? That's crazy.
He's got an astronaut skin.
Yeah, yeah, but not like a
This is different. Yeah,
dark star or anything.
yeah. This guy. This is looking cool.
Nice. All right, and that's pretty much the end of the patch. So, yeah. Any final thoughts, or I think we hit pretty much everything.
No, this seems like a good patch overall.
Yeah,
Um, I'll be curious if yeah, I'll just be curious. I'll be really, really interested what once they say what the world's patch is going to be. And if it is like 13 9, like, let's say it's 13-19, they tend to be really conservative on that last patch going into worlds. So if it let's say it's 13-19, we might only get one more like really big patch between now and worlds. But
yeah, maybe.
like 13-18 would probably be really big, and then 19 would be like a smaller if that was the case. So be curious. I think like this one was cool because a lot of the changes made sense for the goals that they were trying to accomplish. So um, I am just afraid of Tryndamere. That is my final patch thought.
Yeah,
I'm afraid. Yeah, I don't ever think that's the one that's got me most nervous that it could go off the rails.
yeah, I have to
That's
agree.
that's that's my take on. And honestly, I agree with you now. The Hecarim, I thought it was big, but I agree with you that Hecarim changes plus Spear Sojin changes. That could also be pretty bananas.
Yeah, it's
So
apparently
those would
really
be my
good on there too.
two.
So
Yeah, those would be my two to watch for: Tryndamere and Hecarim. I'll be curious how they perform.
yeah, cause you know how Hecarim scales with speed, right? Like
Yeah.
move speed.
Yep.
Spirit of Trojan gives you a, up to 15% for melee bonus movement speed based on missing health.
Mm,
So,
yep.
uh, yeah, it's pretty nice
I
scaling.
see.
And I mean, it
I
gives him way lower
see.
cooldowns, obviously. Gives him a bunch of health, gives him ability haste, all things he loves. Attack damage, like it's really good. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for watching once again. And I guess we'll see you hopefully for the draw show. I don't know when that is. Does anyone know when this is?
It's it might it might be a minute because LEC is still not done, by the way. They've got like they're not done. They're not done yet. I think they have another week or 2 weeks. Yeah, September.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
11th?
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, it's like insane
What
how
the?
much longer LEC goes.
Wait, I thought
I
they
don't
played like last week.
they
Is that when
did.
they
They have
started?
so many I don't yeah, they have so many more games to go. I
Oh
don't
my.
understand it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah, it's like the longest season ever. So, yeah,
I'm so used to
yeah,
just having finals and then we do draw show like
yeah,
immediately after, pretty much.
yeah. Every single region knows who they're sending to Worlds except LEC.
Yeah. Wow. They just want the extra viewers, honestly.
Yeah,
It's
they're
always
gonna
all
farm all
about
the.
them.
Yep, yep. There we go.
All
So
right. Well,
we'll do the draw show eventually, whenever it comes.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, at least 2 weeks from now, probably.
Probably do another patch rundown before we do the draw
Yeah.
show. To
I
be
mean,
honest.
probably.
Yep.
Well, either way, look forward to all that. So, thank you all for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.